In this video, I discuss circular reasoning in climate argument. Circular reasoning is so common that I actually struggle to find a good example. So many circular arguments have become common belief, and we're blind to them. We accept them as gospel truth. But once I saw the light, I see it everywhere. Circular reasoning happens when we assume what we're trying to prove. We state a premise, which is the conclusion, but in different words. And sometimes we don't even bother changing the words. And this can be confusing. So I found it easier to understand through a few simple examples. Here's one. It's okay to destroy property when I'm angry because angry people destroy things. To paraphrase, it's okay for me to break things. I'm angry. Angry people break things. So I am allowed to break things. But at no stage did I prove it was okay. I just said that angry people break things, which often is true, but that doesn't make it okay. I'm merely justifying bad behavior. The whole thing goes in a circle. I see circular reasoning a lot in my climate work. I came across a great example the other day in a letter to the editor of my local newspaper. The writer argued, "Common sense says global warming isn't happening. I have a lot of common sense. My common sense tells me that I have never seen global warming. So, climate change isn't happening." But at no point did the writer offer any evidence that supported the argument. He just restated his premise as his conclusion. To be fair, I'm simplifying a 300-word letter into a few short bullets. But this is often the case with circular logic. The argument is buried in a sea of words. To see the problem, we have to simplify things, break the argument into little bits, and then check the logic. Often, the whole thing seems ridiculous when we apply the test. And once again, all too often, we don't bother because it's just way too much work. A number of things pop out of this for me. First, I find that more often than not, folks are completely unaware that they haven't proven anything. They believe they've made their point, and they can get very angry indeed if you challenge them. Second, the circular argument is often offered up with an air of smug superiority. See, why didn't you think of that? You're not so smart after all. They believe that the argument proves their superior intellect. In my example, if you disagree, you have no common sense. And people with common sense are smarter than those who don't have common sense. Finally, circular arguments are often offered as divine truth. So challenging the argument spits in the face of all goodness and light. For example, I believe Canada is a great country. Why? Because I'm Canadian and I think it's great. But this is belief, not proof. To offer proof, I'd have to provide evidence of what makes Canada great. But since this is a matter of faith, offering evidence opens the door to a discussion that casts doubt on this universal truth. So we don't go there very easily. In my example, for the writer to provide proof, he would have to accept that scientists have something meaningful to offer. But scientists don't have any common sense. So if I accept anything they say, common sense alone can't prove my argument. But my common sense tells me that can't be true. And around we go. We call it circular for a reason. Circular reasoning is a tactic that folks use at the denial stage of the climate grief process. They really don't want to hear anything that challenges their beliefs, and they will cling to those beliefs at almost any cost. This is not the time to pick away at the logic of the argument. That merely makes folks dig in deeper. We need to actively listen and understand the underlying fears and concerns that drive the argument. We need to share our own fears and concerns. After all, we're all worried about pretty much the same things: jobs and family and security. From this common ground, we can start a real discussion about climate action. And at that point, we can deconstruct the circular argument and identify an evidence-based way forward. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please comment below or pop on over to nodalcore.com, browse around, and leave a comment there. Thank you for spending a few moments with me. Until next time.